The Majority Report with Sam Seder, where every day's Casual Friday. That means Monday is Casual Monday, Tuesday, Casual Tuesday, Wednesday, Casual Hump Day, Thursday, Casual Thurs, that's what we call it, and Friday, Casual Shabbat. The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Friday, April 10th, 2020. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. Actually, no, we're not. We're much further away from that. On the program today, it's Casual Friday. Joining us, staff writer for the New Republic, Alex Perrine, will be here to discuss this week that was. Also on the program today, from his Twitter feed and from Thought Spiral, Andy Kindler, to break down the latest Dennis Miller material that we have found. Also, for Donald Trump and the Trump administration, May 1 is the new open by Easter. Meanwhile, thousands of healthcare workers are infected across the country. Others now being laid off by hospitals. The SBA loans from the Phase 3 stimulus are a mess. Meanwhile, Pelosi and McConnell look to name Phase 3 oversight chair. And a small union win dug out of the last stimulus. Republican populists are... Oh, gosh, I can't even read this. Sorry, folks. It's Casual Friday. They're outflanking Dems on Phase 4. And meanwhile, Joe Biden proposes dropping Medicare age all the way down to 60 and some college debt relief. Donald Trump approval rating also dipping as more of the country feels the coronavirus impact. Bill Barr claims something nefarious in the 2016 Donald Trump investigation. Meanwhile, speaking of spy agencies, they reported a potential pandemic all the way back in November. Supply lines, a problem. 80 coronavirus cases in a Smithfield plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And with 17 million unemployed, city and states are getting ready for major austerity. All this and more on today's program, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow, okay. Thank you for joining us at Casual Friday. I am coming off of the total high of 2 Zoom Passover Seders, and it's not easy to maintain those things in general. Also, kids are starting to break a little bit out there. I know I feel confident in saying that for most parents with kids who have now been sequestered for a number of weeks, that everyone is going bat crap crazy in the house. And so, you should just know you're not alone. Most parents I know are starting to drink, before lunch. Let's put it that way. And really the only reason why I'm not is just because I've got to be up here doing the show. But this would have been the beginning of our spring break. And we're not going to take spring break, I guess, this year. I hope that's not news to Matt and Brendan. Were you guys aware of that? Had you guys even remembered?
Matt, end the Zoom call now. Walk out.
But maybe what we'll do is a pre-record on Wednesday or something like that. Just one day off. And I think, we're probably going to have to take like a 6-month vacation when this is all over, when we can get out of our houses. But it is Casual Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope everyone is well. We're going to do our plugs and notices on Monday when we catch up with these things. We have a wide array of sound for you today. Here is, let's play this clip of Donald Trump. This is clip number 1. The White House is getting worried about his polling numbers on this. And they are getting worried that what's going to happen to the economy in terms of the election, and what is it's really going to be shaping up. And we'll talk to Alex Perrine about this. But the election, and this is certainly Joe Biden's strategy. They want this to be exclusively a referendum on Donald Trump, and certainly in the era of coronavirus. That becomes a lot harder for Donald Trump. And ultimately, the question is going to be not whether Donald Trump is going to get more or less votes than Joe Biden. It's going to be where it is. So, where those votes come from, because we have an electoral college. So Donald Trump is now saying that we're probably going to go back to normal in a month. This is absurd. For a number of reasons. We'll talk more about this with Alex Perrine as well. But here he is trying to comfort everyone with his understanding of how well we're going to do going forward. This is clip number 1.
What do you say to the 16 million Americans, more than 16 million Americans who have lost their jobs in the last 3 weeks and fear that the economy won't just bounce back, like you said?
Well, I think the economy is going to do very well. Now, that's just my feeling. It's a strong feeling. I've had good, proper feelings about a lot of things over the years, and I think we're going to do well. We're doing it looks like we're at the lower end of the curve in terms of death, which is a terrible word, a terrible, dark word that we've experienced like nobody's ever seen before in this country. I mean, we have numbers that are terrible, but when you look at the lower levels of 100, lower prediction levels of 100, 120,000 to 220,000, or if we did nothing, up to 2.2 million people, we're looking at a much lower level than the level of, I hope, than the level of 100,000. So we're going to see. We're going to have to, you can never do anything about the people that lost their loved ones and lost their friends, and I mean the great friendships. And I'm not sure a lot of people will ever be the same, but I think our country, from an economic standpoint, will end up being stronger than ever. We have tremendous stimulus. We have tremendous stimulus plans. We have things in the works that are going to really, I think, fire the country. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have a big bounce rather than a small bounce.
What is amazing to watch is Donald Trump try to sound empathetic about people dying. It is fascinating where he realizes there's a bunch of words that he's been told to say. You know, people have lost their loved ones. They've lost this and that now. And he just sort of recites this with absolutely no connection to the words he's saying. It's fascinating. I mean, no one looks to him for this. I don't think. I mean, maybe there are people, some of his voters perceive it this way. And he could be right in terms of the kind of bounce that we're going to have, but it's very hard to imagine. Once you get past a certain point, it's going to be very difficult for small businesses anyways to just ramp back up, to get their customers to come back in, to get their, and here's the problem with the, we'll talk more about this with Perrine as well, but here's the problem with Donald Trump saying we're going to all come back in May. One, it's not up to him. most of our stay-at-home orders are a function of the states, and they're not going to listen to the federal government on this stuff because they've gotten screwed in the past when they tried to. Yeah, and just in terms of guidance. The other is that I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take a little time before I go to a movie. I'm going to take a little time before I go to the mall. And we're not even there yet. But I mean, on the day that, Donald Trump says we can all come out now, I'm going to take a little more time, I think. And I think the other issue that we're going to have is that this has been a rolling situation. In New York City, yesterday, 800 patients died, which was twice as many as on any day before. They died, I should say, specifically in hospitals of COVID-19. In addition, 200 New Yorkers a day are dying at home, which is about, on a typical day, let's say 3 months ago in New York, you get about 20 people dying at home. Now, it's unclear what they're dying of. They could be dying of COVID-19. They also could be dying of other things that have been untreated because hospitals are so overwhelmed. But we do have basically a shrinkage of the rate of increase and maybe even a flattening of the in New York of new hospitalizations, which indicates that at the very least we're, the curve, we're at the dropping part of the curve. But one of the things about flattening the curve is that you're actually, when you flatten the curve, what you're doing is you're pushing, you're disaggregating and you're almost depreciating the numbers across time. So what you've done is made it possible for hospitals to deal with the numbers that are coming in, but the numbers are still going to come in, still going to exist. And none of this is going to be dealt with until we get testing. And as far as anybody can tell, the federal government has been a disaster in this regard. In fact, they had announced at the beginning of last week, they were going to pull all support of testing. I should say a couple days ago. I can't even remember what day it is today. I think it was 2 days ago. On Wednesday, they said they were going to pull all testing support by the end of the week. And then they reversed themselves when people were like, what? Hope springs eternal, folks. But we're in for, I think, a little bit more of a difficult time than Donald Trump wants us to believe. I certainly hope to be wrong about that. I would be very, 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 very excited if we could all just go back to normal in 2.5 weeks, and the economy bounces back the next day. I'd be more than happy about that, believe me. But does not look like the most likely of scenarios. In the meantime, this program, Majority Report, is made possible in part by Skillshare. The first 500 people who go to skl.sh/Majority Report 7 are going to get a free premium membership to Skillshare for 2 entire months. Skillshare is an online learning community, offers thousands of classes on almost any topic you can imagine. All classes are taught by experts in their field. They have classes on drawing. They have classes on painting. They have classes on photography. They have classes on haircutting. They have classes on video editing, web design, running a small business, a whole lot more. Almost all the classes are less than an hour long, and every class is split up into like little episodes or chapters. So it's easy to fit Skillshare into your week. If you got to run around, do a bunch of different stuff over the course of the day, or, maybe you're doing it with kids, little bite-sized portions. I have decided not only am Mila and I going to take a haircut course this weekend, as I contemplate the idea of letting her cut my hair. If we do that, I'm going to give you guys notice because I don't know. But the class looks good. And then I realized I got a ukulele up here I'm going to take a ukulele class, and they also have